Hello, everyone, once again. This is Rob, and welcome back to Media Awareness and the final Doctor Who review of this season for Empire of Death. Before I get to that, however, a quick reminder the fundraiser continues. For those of you unaware or new to my channel, I am a disabled individual and I use a motorized wheelchair slash scooter all day, every day for my independence, and I need your help. My insurance will not cover anything regarding my scooter as I view it as a quote luxury item end quote. Therefore, I'm reaching out to you, my YouTube community, for your help. Below the title of this video in the description, as well as in a separate section below that, you'll find a spot fund link. Any and all help is welcome. I cannot stress that enough. I am unable to walk whatsoever, unable to use any other type of scooter, and unable to use a standard wheelchair due to my manual dexterity issue being so limited. In addition to that, I do not have a backup scooter or wheelchair. So if this goes, I am a fish out of the water, and that is a scenario I do want to avoid at all costs. So please do what you can at the spot fund count below. If you're not able to uh, contribute whatsoever, or if you're unable to contribute at this time, please like and share. Also comment and let me know what you thought of this episode. Also consider subscribing to my channel and becoming part of Media Awareness's YouTube family. I would really appreciate you doing so. The final episode of this season of Doctor Who, and it has its moments. It has its really powerful moments. In fact, it also has some detracting factors. I'll go through all of that in this review. So spoilers ahead, and if you don't want spoilers, turn away now and go watch it and then come back. If you don't care, or if you've seen it, keep on watching. So, the episode picks up right from where um, the last week's episode left off, and the Doctor and Ruby and Mel are able to um, reconnect just as this dust cloud of death is enveloping everything on Earth. And the Doctor realizes that because he's been carrying around Sutek all these years on the TARDIS without knowing that, in essence, he has brought death to everywhere. And uh, there's a real powerful moment with Unit, and you see everyone turning to dust. And it is very, very intense. And then you see the TARDIS in space above the Earth. Doors open. Doctor's kind of sitting there on the edge, looking out and really taking in the devastation. And you could see on his face just the amount of regret he has for just seemingly going anywhere at any time for any reason he desires, and not really thinking about the ramifications of his actions. The Doctor screams out into the void because he knows that he was the cause or the root of all of this destruction. And that's not what the Doctor is about. So it's really a shocking moment for him. And it's really done well. And then we have the TARDIS land on a undesignated planet. Would have been nice if it would have had some sort of past significance as far as where he landed, but that's okay. He goes into this makeshift sort of camp tent, and there is a woman there, and she talks about her baby, and there's sort of this thought that is her baby Ruby, and is she Ruby's mother? And Russell T Davies has been always very good at throwing these uh, bait and switch, for lack of better words, um, moments out to us. But we very quickly, for all of us, I would think, realize that that's not the case. And the woman looks over, sees her baby has turned to dust, says that, um, you know, says it to the doctor, and the doctor acknowledges it, and he is just being, he's just been handed a spoon by her, which he needs to sort of get the TARDIS going. Um, Kind of a questionable MacGyver moment, I guess you could say. Um, I'm really, I'm really not sure how I feel about the spoon, and but I did like the scene and the emotional impact and the bait and switch in terms of Ruby and her mother and that whole plot thread there, because it really does make you think about who, is this woman Ruby's mother. We already had the uh, fake out of Susan Triad not being Susan Foreman. So it's it was entirely plausible that that could have been the case with this, and it could have been Ruby's mother, but it wasn't. And the TARDIS takes off, and the Doctor goes to this one place where all of humanity is cataloged, basically, in the future. And he accesses, with Ruby's assistance, who her mother is. Um, Now, in doing this, Sutek wants to know, because it's the one thing Sutek doesn't know. And because of that, Sutek really doesn't have power over um, the Doctor or over Ruby as much as she might otherwise. He might otherwise. I'm sorry. So, the Doctor and Ruby have been accompanied by Melanie, and Melanie just sort of is there for the majority of this episode. Now she is possessed by Sutek, as Sutek's for eyes and ears with the Doctor, but you see her try and fight it outside of the room that the Doctor and Ruby are in. She tries resisting, you hear Sutek's voice, and you see that he overpowers Melanie, taking her over. Really a good show of acting in that section as well. But they find where Sutek is, and they the Doctor, Ruby, and they confront Sutek, and it's more or less Ruby's moment to shine. The Doctor is on the ground, and Ruby has the answer as far as what Sutek wants, which is the identity of her mother. And it's the one thing that he does not know, which is kind of questionable as well, because if he is as powerful as he supposedly is, he should know. But that's okay. We'll let that go. Um, he's been hanging on the TARDIS for years, so I'm sure maybe he didn't think to ask anyone, but that's okay. Uh, Movie walks up to the TARDIS and defiantly holding this data pad, but she smashes the device. Sutek is immediately really, really angry. Um, but the Doctor and Ruby working together manage to get this lasso of sorts around Sutek, and they get in the TARDIS. They're in the time vortex next, and they are flying pretty far and pretty wide, and the Doctor has the lasso tied inside the TARDIS, and you can see Sutek basically trying to break free of it, and the Doctor he shows his moment of being the Doctor, I think, in this scene. Truly being the Doctor in terms of what we know as the Doctor in Doctor Who. And that is doing what he needs to do to make things right. And that is to cut the rope loose and let Sutek just become oblivion in the time vortex. And he does so. He shuts the door, and he is not happy with what he had to do. But because he needed to do so to presumably stop this cloud of death from spreading any further, he did so. And they show above the TARDIS console all like a hologram of all the planets returning to what they were in essence, and the Doctor returns to UNIT. Now everyone at UNIT had also turned to dust previous to this, and they all come back, and that's really one of my only problems is with this new iteration of Doctor Who from 2005 onward, which, so it's not really new, but dating myself here, 2005 was a long time ago. Anyway, it's sort of just this magic reset that Russell T Davies seems to write in to a lot of these episodes, and Stephen Moffat was also guilty of this as well. They both are guilty of this. Most of the Doctor Who staff writers are guilty of this, at least from 2005 onward. There's always this magic reset, and in this case, it was the destruction of Sutek, and everyone comes back. There's not one casualty to sort of be like dwelt on, or something to sort of remind you that this happened and this really did hit home. The fact that everyone comes back sort of makes the whole thing almost seem unnecessary, because it happened, but yet it didn't, because everything was reset and it didn't matter, basically, in my opinion, and that's how I see it. Um, you might see it differently. Please let me know in the comments if you do. But that was my biggest problem. And it's a running theme with a lot of these episodes, and I think we saw it with Christopher Eccleston in one of his episodes, um, where he just has a line like "Today everyone lives" or something like that, and he yells it, and uh, it's one of those sort of moments, but it's not. It doesn't hit home because everyone's back and there are no losses, basically. But um, nevertheless, the uh, doctor and Ruby look up on Unit's computer um, the answer to Ruby's question of who her mother is. And on one hand, it's underwhelming given how much buildup there was over this. On the other hand, it's refreshing because she just was an average person and there was no significance regarding her. The doctor and Ruby go back to Ruby's foster mother's house, and they uh, do this, of course, after Ruby has a choice of confronting her mother because she knows who she is and potentially finding out more about her life or just letting it go. And she chooses to confront her, and it's very heartfelt, very moving. Um, and they all are looking at pictures at the adopted mother's house, sort of filling her biological mother in on her life. And the doctor is waiting in the TARDIS, and Ruby comes in and says, we're gonna order pizza. You should come out there. Um, and her phone rings, and she lets it go for a second into, I guess, voicemail, and that rings again. So she answers it, and she says to the doctor that they think they may know who her father is as well. The mother knows, and they can go track him down as well. So everyone reunite, everyone be happy, and um, Ruby looks at the doctor because he's not coming, and she says, "I love you," and he just sort of looks at her with that look of, "I know you do." And meanwhile, is it a romantic love? Is it a friend love? I think it might be a little bit of both. I think it might be like a crush in a lot of ways, an admiration kind of love. It's hard to say. It's Doctor Who. We don't know. It's really hard to say anymore. Well, since the whole thing with the Doctor and Rose took place between the Ninth Doctor and the 10th Doctor collectively, it's hard to really say. But at this point, it's uh, the TARDIS dematerializes, and Mrs. Flood is um, sort of standing on top of the apartments, presumably it looks like, and just interesting dialogue to add that basically narration about the Doctor itself, and that his ending would not be a happy one, and or something of that nature. So the question still is, who's Mrs. Flood? Is she Susan? Susan Foreman. Um, maybe, maybe not. Who knows? At this point, at least. And yeah, there you have it. So it was a powerful episode. Sutek really didn't do a lot except hanging out on top of the TARDIS and look menacing, but it was powerful because it is Sutek, and the booming voice and the everyone turning to dust was enough to kind of show off his power. So there you have the final episode of this new season of Doctor Who, being collaboratively brought to us by both the BBC and Disney Plus. And how was it as a whole? As a whole, this season had its ups and downs. If you guys would like me to do a video on this Doctor Who season specifically, let me know in the comment section. I will. But I feel that this season really had its ups and downs, and you can just follow my reviews to look at those actually if you want to know how I feel about each episode individually. But there you have it, Doctor Who. I don't know what will be next here on this channel. Perhaps a music reaction, perhaps a review. Anything's possible. It's media awareness. Once again, a reminder, the fundraiser continues. Please do what you can. Any and all help is welcome. I will see you all again soon, hopefully without scratching cats in the background. Kittens, in fact. More kittens. Great. I will see you all again soon. Have a wonderful morning, noon or night, wherever you are. Take care. Bye.